Good afternoon and happy World UFO Day on the Angry Astronaut. World UFO Day. I have to admit, until recently, I didn't even know that July 2nd was World UFO Day. In fact, I'm not even certain that I knew that there was a World UFO Day. That suggests just how infrequently I thought about these things and how infrequently this topic used to appear on this channel. And be assured, at this point, I am going to be cutting things off on this topic a little bit, scaling back. Barring no other earth-shattering news, if something like that were to come out, yeah, I'm going to report on it, but otherwise I am going to try to scale this stuff back for one very important reason. The more that I report on this, the more it seems to indicate that there may be some sort of conspiracy in regards to UFOs and perhaps a program to reverse engineer these things. If you had asked me 6 months ago, a year ago, as to whether or not I believed that something like that was true, I would say absolutely not. I have always been disinclined to believe in conspiracies. Let me give you an example of just how difficult it is to keep a secret. Not that long ago, Prince Harry was assigned to a 20-week tour of duty to Afghanistan. Of course, the Taliban would really have liked to have killed Prince Harry, and so a decision was made for the government, the British government that is, to approach the media and ask them to not report on this. They told them the truth and then asked them to keep it a secret. The media has a hard time keeping a secret about much of anything, but they agreed to do it, and they did a very good job of keeping this secret. Until, of course, an independent journalist stumbled across the whole thing, thought he had this huge scoop, and broke the story to the world and ruined the whole damn thing, and Prince Harry had to be pulled off the front lines because he was going to be putting his unit in danger. That indicates just how tough it is to keep a secret, even if you have the willing cooperation of powerful organizations. One guy being deployed to Afghanistan for 20 weeks, and we couldn't even keep the secret for that long. The more people you involve in a conspiracy, the more people you involve in keeping a secret, the more likely it is that that secret is going to come out. And it is very difficult for me to accept that the government has been able to keep such an important secret from the public for over half a century. But now that David Grush has come out with all of these revelations, and now the various people in Congress and the Senate have said that there are other whistleblowers just as convincing, just as credible as David Grush, who are also coming forward, although they just don't want to go public, but they've come to Congress with their stories, the more it seems to think that this conspiracy might exist. And if that is indeed the case, how could they have kept this secret for so long, and why would they have kept such an important secret from all of us? Well, the truth has something to do with the Fermi paradox. And the answer to this question is pretty horrifying, because if all of this is true, if we have indeed known about the existence of alien civilizations, if we've been capturing their ships, digging up their pilots, and therefore we would also assume that there are aliens in close proximity to the Earth, maybe a few light years away, maybe they even have a base in our own solar system. If all of that is true, the consequences are dire. Civilization shattering, actually. Ever since I started this channel, one of my favorite topics has been the possible existence of extraterrestrial civilizations and the Fermi paradox. Although I haven't talked much about UFOs, I have talked about astronomical phenomena that seem to defy all logic, things that don't seem to fit with our understanding of the natural universe, but might fit with things like alien megastructures or other types of alien technology that might explain what we're seeing. For example, what you're looking at right now is something that astronomers think might be a colossal ring system orbiting a nearby star. A ring system that's nearly 100 million kilometers across. Now, a ring system this huge and as opaque as what we've been observing would have to contain far more matter than exists in the sun itself. We are talking about a ring system much more dense than that of Saturn, and yet thousands of times as big. It defies everything we know about solar system evolution, and yet there it is. So how can we say for certain that somebody didn't build this for no other reason to advertise their presence? There's no way this could have evolved, so here we are. And this is just one example of many in the universe that seem to indicate technosignature or artificial origin. Evidence, in other words, that we are not alone in the universe, that the Fermi paradox is not a paradox at all. Aliens are all around us in the galaxy and always have been. We've just refused to look at the evidence or acknowledge the proof of their existence. However, that is a lot easier to believe than the idea that aliens have been here since the 1940s and we've just been covering up the evidence. But given the recent creation of Arrow, and given all the evidence they've given us, combined with these recent revelations from David Grush and others, it would seem that the government has definitely been keeping some kind of secret from us. It has been suggested that this could be some sort of false flag operation, trying to divert our attention with the possibility of aliens, when in reality some sort of new advanced military aircraft is being developed or something along those lines. But that would also suggest a conspiracy of mammoth proportions. So what if this is aliens? What if the answer to the Fermi paradox is they've always been around us, they've always been on Earth, and they've always been studying us? Well, if that is indeed the truth, then it's been a very good idea to keep that truth from the world's governments and from the general public. Let me try to explain why. The Fermi paradox, for those of you unfamiliar with the concept, is the idea that if intelligent life has existed in the galaxy for many billions of years prior to the existence of our civilization, then in time they should have been able to visit every single solar system in the entire galaxy easily in the amount of time they've had at their disposal, especially if the civilizations have been around for many millions of years. Even if traveling close to the speed of light is not a realistic possibility, they still should have been here by now. And yet, where is the evidence of their presence? Well, if the answer is they are here, they've been studying us, and they've been aware of the existence of our civilization for quite some time and just haven't chosen to interfere for some reason, the answer to the Fermi paradox is we are in some kind of a zoo, that aliens are aware of us and they are studying us and choosing not to really interfere with our activities, although they could if they wanted to. Earth is sort of a cage in a giant interstellar zoo, and we are the specimens being studied. That is a very disturbing revelation indeed. Even if these aliens have completely beneficent intentions, even if they have no desire whatsoever to conquer us, our civilization is nonetheless completely at their mercy. Consider, for example, if this alien civilization or civilizations had some desire to conquer us. Let's say they wanted to wipe us out for some reason and take our planet's resources. By the way, I think that's a highly unlikely possibility. Earth has very few resources that any interstellar civilization would be interested in. You can get water in much larger quantities on other planets, for example, beneath the surface of Europa or Enceladus, and you can get the raw materials in our crust from a wide variety of locations also, without having to go to war with anybody or wipe out any other civilization or intelligent species. But let's say they wanted to enslave us. Humans could be very useful, self-replicating, self-repairing, intelligent slaves, and perhaps that's what they would want from us. Well, it would be pretty straightforward for an alien civilization to compel our obedience. They wouldn't have to invade us at all. They would have no reason whatsoever and no cause whatsoever to unleash any sort of nuclear weapons on us or any sort of death rays. None of these things would be necessary. All they would have to do is, for example, shade the sun. That would be a straightforward thing to do, and plunge our planet into an artificial ice age, threatening to wipe us all out, or simply divert a nearby asteroid to slam into us and annihilate everything on the surface of the planet. If they would simply threaten to do something like that, and we would be powerless to stop them, they could compel obedience. Now, this is a very frightening possibility, and if we are unaware of their motivations, that makes it even more frightening. How do we know that they don't intend to do that to us at some point if we don't understand what motivates them? But even if we do understand them, even if they mean us no harm whatsoever, everything that our civilization does in the future is subject to their whims and their desires. Every decision that we make in the future, whether it be to develop a new power source, or try to stop global warming with new technologies, or explore our solar system, or build an interstellar probe, all of these decisions are going to be subject to the theoretical reactions of our interstellar visitors. Is this going to offend them? Is this going to make them feel threatened all of a sudden? And if they feel threatened, are they going to suddenly turn hostile? Can we possibly take such a risk? These are the sorts of things that are going to make future decisions on the part of the United Nations, on the part of Earth governments, a lot more difficult to carry out. Everything we do, every weapon we develop, every war that breaks out on the surface of the planet might trigger a response from an interstellar civilization that's visiting us in force. As a matter of fact, everything we've already done in theory, captured their ships, experimented on their dead pilots. For all we know, we've already pissed them off, and they've already sent a signal to a nearby base to send a larger expeditionary force to wipe us out. If we don't know their motivations, that could be true. We don't know. These are the sorts of things that are going to make people unbelievably paranoid. It's going to make world governments unbelievably paranoid. Who knows how hostile we might become towards our interstellar visitors. And even if we don't become hostile, our future decisions are still going to be seriously modified by the knowledge that alien civilizations have us under a microscope every minute of every single day. These are the sorts of things that can have tremendous impacts on the future of a civilization. Devastating impacts, not only on civilization, but also on everyday society. Can you imagine how difficult it's going to be to get your 10-year-old kid to sleep at night if you cannot honestly tell them that something isn't going to come and whisk them away sometime in the middle of the night and experiment on them? These are the sorts of secrets that really need to be kept, and it leads me to believe that if there is some kind of conspiracy, there is a very, very good reason for everyone who has knowledge of this conspiracy, including perhaps every president that's ever sat in the Oval Office, to keep their mouths shut about it. Because if the general public knew the truth, the consequences would be utterly disastrous. we would never be able to rest. We would never be able to relax. If people spend every waking moment knowing that these things might appear on their doorstep or be hovering over their house or chasing them down the highway or appearing in large numbers over their hometown, I can scarcely imagine the types of psychological problems that we're going to be experiencing, the kind of psychoses that will begin to break out all over the planet. Yes, I can definitely see why the government would want to keep such a truth from us, and why people would be highly motivated to do this regardless of how it made them feel personally. I am far more likely to believe, however, that this is just not true, that the truth is not this awful. Even though there may be evidence of alien craft in increasing numbers flying through our skies, that may not suggest that there are alien civilizations close by, or large numbers of actual alien pilots or alien colonists or alien soldiers ready to spring on us at any moment. I believe rather that we might be getting visited by alien probes, unmanned robot probes, with a directive to explore any planets that might lie in the habitable zone of a favorable sun, a G-class star like our own, for example. They have no designs of our civilization, no designs on our species whatsoever. As a matter of fact, the civilization that created them may not be aware of our presence whatsoever. They may lie over 1,000 light years away, and even if these robot probes were to visit us and decide, hey, you know what, this is a perfect planet for the people who built us, we need to send them a signal and have them send an invasion fleet to wipe these primitives out so we can take this place for ourselves, well, it would take at least 1,000 years for the signal to arrive at their home planet, and then another 1,000 years, assuming they could travel somewhere close to the speed of light, for this invasion fleet to arrive. That gives us over 2 millennia to prepare, a much more comfortable scenario. So, are we alone in the universe? No, I don't believe that we are. Have we perhaps discovered a couple of crashed examples of automated probes that have been sent to explore our planets? Probes that had no idea that we were even here in the first place and just wanted to explore a promising world? Yes, I believe that's possible. I believe that it's possible that we found craft like this in the past and we might be checking them out. That's the sort of secret that I think we might have kept. However, are there large numbers of aliens that are swarming all over the planet that have somehow avoided our detection, and yet our government has been aware of their presence for the last 70 years and have just been keeping this awful reality from the public in order to avoid a panic? Well, I choose to believe that that is not the case, if for no other reason. It'll make it a lot easier for me to sleep at night. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, please subscribe. Also, please check the description for various ways to keep this content coming. And as always, stay angry about space.